Chapter 13, pronominal suffixes with feminine nouns, and then we'll look at more irregular nouns. Again, we're going to be putting pronominal suffixes onto nouns, but this time it's a feminine noun. The good news is the same boxes you used in Chapter 12, Section 2 will be the same boxes we use in this chapter. And so there's no new memorization in the sense of new boxes, and so that's very good. But what we have to do, though, is we're going to have to work with that feminine noun a little bit and do a bit of adjustment before we can put the pronominal suffix on. And so if you look at 13.2 and go down to number 1, the explanation of forms, here I discuss what you have to do for a feminine word. So we're looking at a word like Torah. And what we want to do is put a pronominal suffix onto this word. And as we've noted in past lectures, this comment's hey is that hey there is phony. And of course, we're never going to put a hey in the box. Never. And what we want to do, though, is restore the old feminine form before we put a pronominal suffix on. Remember, apparently the problem in Hebrew is you had something like this as the original form, and that accent and that tav just simply didn't go together, and they did not pronounce the tav, and then of course they lengthened here, and then finally they put on this phony hey. Well, the phony, when we put pronominal suffixes on, that same problem, namely of having the tav and the patach, is not a problem, because what's going to happen is the accent's going to shift with the box. And so that the original feminine form is going to be preserved with pronominal suffixes. So, in order to put a pronominal suffix onto a feminine word, what we're going to have to do, and of course that feminine word ends, as we would say, in an accented comment's hey. We've got to get rid of the old box, and we've got to restore the original form. And perhaps the best way to learn this is just think about adding the box for the feminine singular construct. Because here's what the box would look like, and you'd have the makef. And what you want to do is simply get rid of the box and get rid of the makef. And if you do that, you've really restored the form properly. And so you want to restore the patach and the tav of the original form. And when you put pronominal suffixes onto feminine words, in the singular and in the plural, you will always box up the feminine t. The feminine t will always receive the box. That's what you want to remember. And so now, again, if we want to do, for instance, a 1CS, the box would look something like that. You'd have the accent with the box, and then the hirik yod, which is your box. And now we just have to crunch the rules of syllables. Here you have a patach. In the pretonic open position, Hebrew, of course, will lengthen that to a long kametz. The first syllable is in the originally open pro-pretonic, but you have a historic long vowel, not a short vowel. And therefore, nothing's going to happen to that whole vav, and so this word is going to stay just like it is, Torah-ti. All right, let's do a couple of more. Let's look at like a 2FS form. And again, the word is Torah. So I'll do it again from scratch. With this, again, we have to get rid of this accented comment's hey. That's got to be step 1. And again, if you look at the end of section 2, you'll see the steps you have to do. And again, the first step is you've got to remove that comment's hey, the box comment's hey. That's the first thing. Then you have to restore the protoform. And again, that's going to look like a feminine singular construct, but we're just not going to have the box, we're not going to have the makef. Then what we're going to do is we're going to attach the box, and this time I wanted to do a 2FS. And so here comes the box. Of course, the accents with the box. And now finally, the final step, step 4, we have to crunch our rules. And so again, the patach is in the pretonic open. We'll lengthen that to a long kametz. And again, nothing can happen to the holum. As you know, it is historic long. So that is it. Let's look at, let's do one from the plural column now. Okay, the plural's a little different. Again, we will start with Torah like this. Now again, the first thing we have to do, the first step, is to get rid of the accent comets hey. And now we have to restore the protoform. And just like in the singular, it's going to be the same in the plural. Namely, you want to restore what looks like the feminine plural construct. But again, we're going to take away the makef, and we're not going to put the box on. And again, just like as in the singular, always box the T. Okay, and again, this time we'll do a 1CP. And so for the 1CP, we're going to put, for the 1CP, let me just rewrite this, but for the 1CP, we're going to have the box with the T as always. We're going to have sere, not segol. If the following syllable had a kametz, you would go with segol, so you're getting a sere here. And of course, as you crunch the rules of syllables, you can see immediately you've got two historic long vowels. Nothing can happen to that, and so this is your answer, toro tenu, for your 1CP, first common plural. Okay, so again, what's very important to recognize, if you look at the end of section 2, where I write in the italics, always place the restored feminine T in the box. Never place a hey of the feminine singular absolute in the box. You must remember that. Now let's go to section 3. For in section 3 we have a more interesting noun for us to work. And so the noun is sadaka. And now we want to put pronominal suffix. We'll do one from the singular, or maybe a couple from the singular and one from the plural onto this. And again, we're going to do the same steps that we mentioned right above section 3. And so the first step again is you must get rid of this comets hey. And so that's the first step. And the next step is you've got to restore the original feminine form and the vowels also. So again, in the singular, that's going to be a patach with a tav. In the plural, we would get a holam vav. We wouldn't get the patach, we'd get the holam vav there. Then we want to restore the vowels. We have a kametz and we have a schwa. Both of those have to go back to patachs. And so this is our protoform as we begin. Okay, the next step is the box. And so let's start with a 1CS. And so the 1CS box will go on, again, with the accent. And then the next thing we need to do is crunch the rules. And under the kof, we're in the pretonic open. Hebrew's going to lengthen that. And then the next two syllables are both in the originally open pro-pretonic. We're going to get two schwas there. And we're going to have a schwa fight. And of course, we're going to end up with a hirik. Again, the sadi is not a guttural. If it were a guttural, we'd have a patach. And so we say Ch.13 for this one. Okay, let's do a 2FP. That'll be a good one, 2FP. Again, the first step is take off the comets hey, and then restore our proto-vowels. And so there we restore what looks like, again, a feminine singular construct without the box and without the makef. And we've restored the proto-vowels. Our next step now, of course, is to attach the box. And we want to do a 2FP. Right, 2FP. So we want to do something like this. And again, remember, we'll consider that schwa a silent schwa here for the 2FP. All right, your accent, as always with these so-called heavy suffixes, the chem, chen, hem, hen. And so that's a heavy suffix. The accent always goes there. Now when we divide syllables, remember that we consider that a silent schwa, so that has to end a syllable. And so we're ready to go. Pretonic, certainly, but not open, so we can't lengthen. It is closed unaccented. This is going to stay just like it is. But the other two are both in the originally open pro-Pretonic. Again, you're going to get the double vocal schwa. Schwa fight, Ch.13 is our answer here, as you can see. Well, let's do one from the plural column now. Again, the first step is to get rid of the comments hey. And this time we're in the plural, and so when we restore the form, we want to restore a feminine plural construct, and so it looks like this, but we won't put a box there or put a makef. Restore the proto-vowels, and that will be, of course, to patachs. Now, we'll do a 3ms, so we'll add the 3ms with the accent with the box, of course, very important. And so now when we're divide syllables, this is in the pretonic open. It has a historic long vowel, so that overrides anyway. But then the other two syllables are in the originally open pro-pretonic position. Both get reduced. Then you have the schwa fight. Sidkot tav is our answer. Sidkot tav. So again, we're following the same forms. Again, if you look at the end of section 3, you see the 4 steps that you need to do. And again, I want to point out, always place the restore feminine T, tav, in the box. Never a hey of the feminine singular absolute. Make sure you keep that in mind. That's going to be a big help to you. If you ever have a hey in a box, again, you're going to be wrong. So you want to watch out for that. Again, for the feminine nouns, they're not that bad as long as you get rid of that comments hey and restore what looks like the construct state of either the singular and plural. Then box the tav and put your pronominal suffix on and crunch the rules. You'll be in great shape. If you look at section 4, we have more irregular nouns, and again we've got father, brother, sister, daughter, mother, and then name and house. And again, the best way to go about these is to memorize them. They are irregular. And like if you look at the word father, you can see the plural construct is avot. You would expect something like avim or something like that, but it has what looks like a feminine plural ending. Again, these are just irregular. The word brother is very irregular. And so what you're going to need to do, again, is memorize these. I give you an explanation, but for these, unfortunately, there's no real substitute other than memorization for you. Again, you can read some of the principles I'll give you that will help you. But again, these forms are very important to read Hebrew. They're very common words, and so you have to really look out for them. Now you need, of course, to read the chapter and do the questions and learn the vocabulary and do the drills.